All right, today we get to the meat of happiness. Well, we get to what we think is the meat of happiness. This is why we are so miserable, because this is what we're going after. This research is imperative to understanding, wow, I've been going after the wrong things. And I think for all of us, especially Westerners, where we are being fed materialism, we're going to understand after this reading why we are so miserable and why all the wealth in the world doesn't help us. So if you like what you're hearing, like and share. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you'd like to support my channel, click below on the link, buymeacoffee.com. It really, really, really does help. Anyway, today, hedonic happiness. Researchers have found that happiness can be broken into two basic types, hedonic and eudaimonic. Let's first consider the former. Hedonic happiness comes from the same root word as does hedonism, and is certainly not new to modern society. Hedonism teaches that pleasure or happiness is the highest good. As such, hedonic happiness dictates that the formula for true happiness is based on having the sum difference between the greatest amount of pleasure and the least amount of pain in our everyday lives. In other words, hedonic happiness is seen as the good life. Our jobs are good, we have a comfortable income, our families are healthy, we drive nice cars, we will then attain happiness. If this were true, it would follow that we would have little control over our own happiness. It would be, to some degree, out of our control. Oh, bummer, I have a low-paying job working with people I don't especially like. My parents or children are ailing, my income is insufficient for my needs, let alone my wants. And unfortunately, I'm not able to be happy in this state of being. While that may sound over-exaggerated, it makes the point. Even if we have a great job with a good income, hedonic happiness would teach us that if you're sick or at an inappropriate weight or health status, you have a sick parent or child to care for, or any other aspect of your life is not where you yet desire for it to be, that your happiness or lack thereof is proportionate and partial. Hedonic happiness is extrinsic, which means it comes from outside of your control. Now that sucks. I'm pursuing happiness and it continually eludes me. I guess I'm not one of the lucky ones. Now, hedonic happiness would also presume then that Hollywood celebrities who certainly have attained all the hedonic pleasures in life, fame, fortune, beauty, you'd think that they would be the happiest people in the world. Right. Based on news stories and the number of Hollywood stars killing themselves and overdosing, we can presume true happiness has eluded many of our celebrities as well. Maybe more so than we commoners. And here's why. In order to best describe hedonic happiness, let's consider something that makes you really happy. Let's just say that you are a huge fan of ice cream, as am I, and you discover a new flavor that is absolutely amazing. I mean, the flavor of this ice cream is 100 times better than anything you've previously tasted, and it makes you happy. Well, hedonic happiness would dictate then that in order to stay happy, you should eat that ice cream each and every day, and you will remain happy. Or at least while it's melting over your taste buds. And to a degree, it does make you happy. So you decide to have some of this ice cream every day. The problem is, however, that while the ice cream makes you happy, it makes you just a wee bit less happy the second time you eat it than it made you the first time you experienced the sweet and savory ice cream. So you need more of it. And it makes you happy temporarily, but even less happy than the day before, and less happy the third and fourth and fifth times until you eventually find out that it really doesn't make you happy at all. It's lost its glamour, it bores you, and here's it. Worse yet, you may even start to dislike it for what it does to you. It results in your ultimate lack of happiness. Hedonic pleasure seeking is the reason there is such a big problem today with drugs, alcohol, pornography, gambling, overeating, or any other type of addiction. It is extremely pleasurable at first, but over time it makes us less and less happy So we need more and more of it. The high we get from these extrinsic pleasures decreases with every exposure, and we are left empty and our desires unsated. We're left unhappy. Consider the man referenced previously who was addicted to the initial feelings of a sexual attraction, such that he was a serial cheater. The love cocktail, those initial feelings of love, that was his drug of choice and brought him temporary experiences of pleasure and happiness. But it was hedonic happiness. The more he had, the more he needed to satiate his appetite, and the more quickly the happiness would wear off from woman to woman. This is as it is with all extrinsic pleasures. Now, hedonic happiness is not new to our society or to our generation. The concept of ethical hedonism goes back several millennia and is said to have been started by a student of Socrates named Aristippus of Cyrene, who held the idea that pleasure is the highest good. But the first recorded proof of the avocation of hedonism is actually found in the original Old Babylonian, think of Babylon, right? Sinfulness. The Old Babylonian version of the Epic of Gilgamesh, perhaps the oldest written story on earth. Written soon after the invention of writing with the advice, fill your belly, day and night make merry, let days be full of joy, dance and make music day and night. These things alone are the concern of men. Further ancient Egyptian tomb drawings that sometimes contained hedonistic elements called guests to submit to pleasure, because it can't be sure they'll ever be rewarded for good with a blissful afterlife. The following is a song attributed to the reign of one of the Intef kings before or after the 12th dynasty. The text was used in the 18th or 19th dynasties. This is what they would write about, which explains the hedonism. Let thy desire flourish in order to let thy heart forget the beatifications for thee. Follow thy desire as long as you shall live. Put myrrh upon your head and clothing of fine linen upon your body. Being anointed with genuine marvels of the gods' property, set an increase to thy good things. Let not your heart flag. Follow your desire and your good. Fulfill your needs upon the earth after the command of your heart, until there come for you that day of mourning. Before I continue reading, it's basically saying just what Satan said. I am that, well, besides I will not serve. Do as thou wilt. Do what you want. If your flesh feels good, do it. Though the concept of hedonism predates the written word, our errant seeking of hedonistic happiness has become a problem of epic proportions in our world today. Consider the flourishing industries that focus on our search for extrinsic happiness. The multi-billion-dollar plastic surgery industry promises happiness through attainment of perfect faces and bodies. An entire genre of reality television shows has emerged that focuses on body makeovers, home makeovers, car makeovers, all material happiness. Are these persons happier with their newly made over bodies, houses, and cars? If the understanding of hedonic happiness is applied to their lives, they are likely to be less happy now that the initial euphoria of their improved selves has worn off. Compare also today's weddings with average weddings just 30 years ago, when all that was needed for a successful wedding and a happy couple was a venue, a preacher, and one's happy friends and family. Today, couples are encouraged to spend obscene amounts of money, often on credit, on their celebrations by renting castles and mansions, hiring performers such as acrobats, belly dancers, and purchasing not one but two or more wedding dresses and other sorts of wedding accoutrement. Anything less, and the bride is made to feel her wedding is substandard compared to her contemporaries, and thus her happiness is unmet. This doesn't even include the modern rule that engagement rings must equal 3 months of the groom's income. Are you serious? Unfortunately, many men are now bearing this new financial responsibility for his fiance's happiness before they even walk down the aisle. After all, you wouldn't want her friends to think you're cheap or see her unhappy with a more humble-sized engagement ring now, would you? Still, if all these things created a lasting happiness, then I say, absolutely. Buy the ring the size of Texas and throw in a third wedding dress while you're at it. But alas, they do not. Like all hedonic happiness, the results from these extrinsic pleasures will, over time, wane, and we will be left needing more stuff and more happiness. In this new millennium, we have bigger cars, bigger homes, bigger toys, like motorcycles, boats, and snowmobiles, than they did just a century ago, who longed to have even one of the above and worked many more hours just to have the little that they had. Many of us have housekeepers. We have luxuries like gym memberships, movie theaters, visited with great frequencies, amusement parks, places designed solely to provide pleasurable feelings and fun. Well, unlike my husband, who considers throwing up after spinning on a teacup not fun. We have huge wardrobes when our forefathers had only 2 or 3 changes of clothing. We have numerous pairs of shoes, specialized shoes for any activity such as running, weightlifting, tennis, walking, and more. We have televisions in every room, personal computers and phones, one for every member of the house. So no one has to fight over them. You get the picture. Hedonic pleasures come with promises of great happiness, and yet Americans are significantly less happy than they have ever been, if gauged by the skyrocketing numbers of those being treated for depression and other stress-related disorders and problems, or worse, those attempting or committing suicide. We have so much more material and hedonic pleasure than we once had, and yet it is our unhappiness that is growing proportionately. Research confirms these assertions. According to scholars, in order to find true happiness, one must not focus on material wealth. In its page on happiness under How to Cultivate Happiness, the GGSC writes this, and here's a large quote. After our basic needs are met, research suggests more money doesn't bring us more happiness. In fact, a study by Kahneman found that Americans' happiness rose with their income only until they'd made roughly $75,000. After that, their happiness plateaued. And research by Richard Easterlin has found that in the long run, countries don't become happier as they become wealthier. Perhaps that's why, in general, people who prioritize material things over other values are much less happy. And comparing ourselves with people who have more is a particular source of unhappiness. It also suggests why more egalitarian countries consistently rank among the happiest in the world. End quote. So in short, stuff does not make us happy. But don't be discouraged, for true happiness is not as elusive as the above paragraphs may cause you to believe. As stated earlier, researchers have begun to uncover the causes of true and lasting happiness. In truth, the formula is not new, only the science illuminating it. Since so much validity is placed on the scientific method these days, it's going to be comforting for you to have the obvious confirmed and explained, especially as it applies to true relational and marital happiness. So that's hedonic. We all, I think, are born relative hedonists. We want. And then as we age, we realize stuff doesn't even matter. I remember hearing Jim Carrey say once, he said, I wish everyone had all the money in the world that they ever wanted, because then they can see that it won't make them happy. And he was speaking out of experience. He said, I see all these people with money. We're not happy. So when we start on our next video talking about eudaimonic happiness, eudaimonia, you're going to truly find out why some of the poorest people are actually some of the richest in happiness. Once you can find that happiness, you find it in your marriage as well. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for listening to this Bacon Bit. And as always, remember to live your life sunny side up.